2022 sales meeting. I can't believe the year is basically almost halfway over. Time is flying through the year. Anyways, we have an action-packed 60-minute program. So I'm going to just kick off with today's program. See if we can get this working. As I always like to remind everybody, knowledge is not power, execution is power. So since you're taking the time to spend an hour with us today, make sure you have a pen and paper ready so that you can write down the few things that you're going to execute on your business after today's program. We don't want you to waste an hour just listening and taking in some more information. We want you to go execute and turn what you learned today into power, into money, and into success for 2022. So make sure you have pen and paper or iPad or tablet so that you can write down the couple things you're going to do a little differently after you leave today's program. We want to welcome all of our new and returning agents, Kim O'Connell, Alan Horvitz, Melissa Kimball, Pam McGreevy, Jonette. Welcome. These are all the agents that have joined just since our last meeting. So welcome to our team. Let's talk about our May closings. In just a minute, I'm going to give you guys an overview of what our business looks like year over year. But for the May 2022 numbers, we did 282 closings at $139 million in sales volume. So the spring market has finally started. We got a little bit of a late start this year for spring, but we did 282 closings for the month of May. And whoops. That's just broken down into our different regions. So for Mass and New Hampshire, we did 226 closings with $118 million in sales volume. And for Florida, we did 52 closings at $19 million in sales volume. Let's look at our top agents for the month of May. Congratulations to Jeff, Morales team, Christina, Kelly, and Beth. From Florida, as well as Brent, Linda, Tanya, Michael, and Lisa. You guys are the top 10 agents by volume for our Florida offices. Let's also take a look at units. So top 10 agents by units. We have again, Jeff, Morales team, Beth, Christina, and Kelly. As well, Brent, Linda, Tanya, Lisa, and Roberto. So congratulations on being top 10 units by volume or by units. Next, let's take a look at our New Hampshire top 5. So congratulations to Ford Jean Team, Pro Homes Group, the Fulford Group, Sabrina Stewart, and Marie White. For New Hampshire, our volume, our top 5 for volume and top 5 for units were exactly the same. So we only have one list this month for New Hampshire. And these are for agents that are listed out of the New Hampshire offices. Next, we have our Massachusetts top 5. So this is our Massachusetts top 5 teams by sales volume. Congratulations to Page and Company in Tingsboro, Dan O'Connell and Associates, Steve and Doug team, Rogers Mello team, and Silver Key Homes. Congratulations. Again, top 5 for Massachusetts by volume. We also want to say congratulations to our top 5 individuals by volume for Massachusetts. We have Paul Roulette, Anna Shelbar, Barbara Twist, Matt Winterly, and Lisa Bigger. Congratulations on being top 5 for volume for Massachusetts. Let's take a look at top 5 teams in Massachusetts by unit volume. We have, and this is teams by unit volume for Massachusetts, Page and Company out of Tingsboro, Dan O'Connell and Associates, Rogers Mello's team, Silver Key Homes, and Button and Company out of Burlington. Congratulations on making top 5 for units sold by team in Massachusetts for the month of May. And then we have our top 5 individual agents by unit sold. So Paul Brulette out of Chelmsford, Lisa Fatera, Fairhaven, Anna Shelbar, Bill Ricca, Matt Winterly, Duxbury, and Lisa Bigger, Peabody. So all of the agents, first of all, huge congratulations to a very successful May. I think it's the official launch of the spring market, although it's a little bit late. Congratulations on a great month. And we will be doing a post on social media for all the top agents mentioned today. So watch our LAER, facebook.com/LAER Realty to watch for that post so that you guys can share it with on your own social media with friends, family, acquaintances. I want to just do quickly a year-over-year review. So it is no secret, the market is still off. The market is down in general. All of our markets are off. So at last month's meeting and at our boot camp even, I mentioned that we're gonna, as real estate professionals, really have to work 10% harder to do as much business as we did last year, to make the same amount of money that we did last year. In general, when you look at units sold, in virtually every marketplace, the number of units is down significantly. Now, I want everybody to pay close attention to what's happening in your marketplaces. Many of you guys stopped pulling hot sheets every day when there was no inventory, because many of you said it's just depressing. I don't even want to see that there's no new listings coming on the market. But what we're starting to see in many of our marketplaces is price reductions for the first time in a long time. So what does that mean? Well, there's lots of opportunity that comes with the shifting real estate market. For those of you who've only been in the business for a couple of years, what you're going to start to see is expired listings, something that we haven't really experienced much over the last few years. But we're seeing price reductions, and as we see, we still have a backlog of inventory. So definitely in some of the areas, like for example, as you get closer to Boston, as well in certain price ranges. So if you have a property that's in that lower price range, at least in Massachusetts, say 300 to 500,000, you still might get a bidding war, but it's not a bidding war like it was 6 months or a year ago. The market is shifting. I want to give you guys just an overview of our own numbers for LAER over year over year. So for example, when you look here, it says for May 2022, we did 282 units at $139 million. That looks okay. Compared to last year, we did 280 units at 123 million. But I want to point out that we've grown by 10%. So we have 10% more agents now than we did last year. So this just goes to the idea that all of us are going to have to work 10% harder to do the same amount of business that we did last year. And it might not get easier. We still had a backlog of inventory. In other words, we had all these pent up buyers that were ready to buy something and just couldn't find property. I would say that bucket of buyers that were just waiting for a home, although we can't see how much that bucket is decreased, it has decreased because of the increase in interest rates, meaning it's more difficult. Many people have just been rate hiked out of the market, that they can no longer afford the house that they wanted because the rates have gone up so much in a short amount of time. So it's gonna be a challenging rest of the year. We'll talk more about that in a second. Let's also look at our April numbers. So April last year, we did 226 closings. This year, we did a little bit more, 247 at 118 million. But again, we have a lot more agents than we did 1 year ago. And then let's just go right down to the bottom. So what's interesting to note is our units and our volume is up year over year. So last year at this time, we had already closed 466 million in business. And this year we're at 567 million in business. So we're on pace. We're keeping up with our last year's numbers. But again, we are continuing to grow our agent count. It just shows that we needed 10% more agents to do the same amount of business as last year. All of us are going to have to work a little bit harder just to keep pace with where we were 12 months ago. Let's just take a quick look at what's happening in the marketplaces, specifically like Massachusetts, Southern New Hampshire, and then we'll take a quick look at Florida. Because I'm going to talk for a minute in a minute about different things we can do to get ready for a different type of market than we've been experiencing over the last few years. So first of all, I want to just make sure that if you are a Massachusetts agent, every agent on here, Massachusetts, Florida, New Hampshire, now is the time that you got to start learning how to dig into the numbers of what's happening in your marketplace. So where do you get those statistics? There's a bunch of different places where you can pull year over year numbers. So for example, the Mass Association of Realtors, New Hampshire Association of Realtors, the Florida Association of Realtors. That's a great start for just so you can get a whole overview of what's happening in a marketplace. Secondly, on our website, we have awesome tools just right on the LAER Realty website. They're designed for consumers. So you can go pull market reports for virtually anywhere in our marketplaces. You can go granular into like specific counties or specific towns. But this information is all over the internet. So if you don't remember where to go to get the statistics, go Google it. I love these Market One sheets that the Mass Association of Realtors puts out. They put these out every single month just as an overview of what's happening in the marketplace. Here's why these reports are so important is number one, you guys all have sellers that should get off the fence right now because the clock is ticking. Their prices, the values are going down. We're seeing it with price reductions already in some marketplaces, which means we're very close to a different type of market where we're not going to have bidding wars, where potentially it could become more of a buyer market. So when that happens, as real estate agents, now some of you, if you've been in the business for 2 or 3 years, you probably never had the experience of asking a seller for a price reduction. We're now seeing real estate agents having to go to sellers and ask for a price reduction. And these reports are what you're going to use to ask for the price reduction. Secondly, when you have great reports, it's a great way to get a seller off the fence. Somebody who's been thinking about putting their house on the market, but they just haven't gotten around to it, or they say, well, wait till fall. They could lose value in waiting till fall. So use these reports as a way to talk sellers off the fence. So what you'll see with this, the reports put out by the states is, for example, here we can see, let's take a look just at inventory, which I thought was interesting. So here it shows the number of houses on the market year over year is down by about, and this, by the way, this is for April. So the numbers are a little bit off only because we're a couple months ahead of this already in June. But for April, the inventory was down by like 1,400 units. So you could see there's less inventory, there's less new listings coming on the market. And this is stuff that I know you guys already know because we've been experiencing it. but values keep going up. By the way, thank God for those higher values, because that's helping protect some of your paychecks. You're doing less business and you might not feel it yet, only because the prices have gone up so much that your checks are a little bigger than they might have been. But eventually that number is going to start going the other way. The home prices will start going the other way. I was just reading that overall sales for the state of Massachusetts year over year are down by about 11%, while property prices are up 9% from this time last year. Property prices are up 26% from 2 years ago. But we have to start leaning into the data in order to provide great service to our buyers and sellers. This is interesting for Florida as well. What we're seeing in Florida, in most areas, the number of unit sales is down, just like in every other part of the country, including Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So in the state of Florida, the number of closed transactions year over year is down. This is for first quarter, by the way. The number of sales is down by 2.6%, while prices, of course, are going up. So on this chart, it shows the single families on the left and the condos on the right. And we're seeing, like in our big marketplaces like West Palm Beach, we're seeing that the number of units sold, closed sales is down by almost 6%. And median sales price, check out this number. The median sales price is up by 20% from last year. So super interesting. Naples, interestingly, the number of unit sales is down by 25%. The only place that we have not seen a decrease in the number of units sold is Port St. Lucie. But that is mostly because there's so much new construction in Port St. Lucie that these are properties, like they're building a lot of new construction in that marketplace. And whereas other areas is just not the land available to go build new housing. So this data is all available through the floridarealtors.org, the Florida Association of Realtors, but you can find this information at your realtor organization, your MLS. You got to start digging into the numbers so that you can educate clients as to what's happening in their specific marketplace. So for you guys to win in 2022, there's certain things that you have to start gearing up for. Number one, studying the data. So learning what is the data telling you about what's happening in the market, and then explaining the data to a buyer or seller so that you can educate them as to what to do. Two, we got to get sellers off the fence. Every single day that I go on to like the Wall Street Journal online, even Yahoo News, there are so many articles out there that are predicting that values are going down this year because of the rise of interest rates. So go find those articles, make yourself a folder of all of the articles that say that the market is going to correct itself this year. You're going to want those articles, one, to get your clients off the fence, those sellers who just haven't listed a home yet. And two, you're eventually going to need those for price reductions. So every single person is eventually going to experience a seller that you put the house on the market and they're expecting 10 offers on the property, and instead no offers come in. And then a month goes by or 2 months go by, and then we have to have conversations about price reduction. So start building your folder of articles and information that talk about what's happening in the market and the predictions for the 2022 market based on the rising interest rate climate. Next, you'll want to create multiple streams of leads and clients. So I've already said you're going to have to do 10% more business this year. or you're gonna have to work 10% harder to do the same amount of business as last year. So that means that it's a good idea to have multiple streams of leads and client types that you're working with. So what I mean by that is, for example, in our LAER program guide, and you can get that at laerrealty.com/success. Is it success tools, Sergio?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, laerrealty.com/success tools. You can get our current LAER program and services guide, which is our 30-page toolbook of all the resources you have available to grow your business. One of the pages in that guide, it says leads at the top, and it's all the different companies you can sign up for leads for. The left-hand column of that page gives you all the companies that provide referral fee-based lead platforms. Go sign up for some of those referral fee-based lead platforms. Go sign up for OpCity. We have agents closing $1 million deals from OpCity. Go sign up for those so that you are making sure you're insuring your business for 2022 by making sure that you have increased the number of places that you're getting leads from. 4, perfect your A game. That just means that when you have downtime in your business, go work on your listing presentation. Go have your buyer guides ready, your seller guides ready, so that when you do show up to your appointment, you're going to win the transaction. 5, become a financing expert. I have a guest that's going to join us in a few minutes just to talk a little bit about one of the ways you can help clients navigate the rising interest rate market. But you guys need to become financing experts. That means go out and talk to loan originators and bankers and find out what kind of programs there are out there, and find out ways that somebody could get their interest rate down. Do you understand how an adjustable rate mortgage works? Do you understand how a 3 or a 5-year ARM might be able to help get your client the house they wanted at a lower rate 6 months ago? Do you guys understand construction loans and how those work? In your spare time, you guys need to become the financing experts, because by understanding how the financing works, by understanding what unique tools are available for financing, you're going to be able to save yourself or win more transactions or help a client get the house they really want, instead of them saying, okay, we're not going to be able to qualify for the house we want. Well, maybe you could. Maybe there's a way that the seller, you could negotiate for seller paid upfront PMI so that you could buy down the interest rate, or buying down the interest rate, or doing an adjustable rate. 6, build a killer team and make sure you sell that team as your value proposition. One of the mistakes I see newer agents make is not taking control of the entire transaction. That means that they're working with the buyer and they let the buyer decide who they're going to use for mortgage financing and a closing attorney. And of course, it's the buyer's decision at the end. But the great teams, the great real estate agents, they make sure that their clients understand that by working with the best team, the right mortgage person, the right closing attorney, that everything's going to go smooth, that there's not going to be surprises at the end or middle of the transaction. And then last but not least, study your competition. It's going to be probably one of the most competitive real estate markets we'll see will be in the next 6 months. We still have a shortage of inventory, which is starting to change because some of those buyers that were gonna buy 6 months ago have been rate hiked out of the market. So it's going to start changing. However, we know that there's 1.2, I think it's 1.4 now, 1.4 million realtors. There's over 3 million licensees, licensed real estate agents in the country. So the competition is the most it's ever been. And so we have a smaller pie with more people trying to access the pie. That means that you have to study your competition and understand exactly how their model works. What makes your model and how you sell a house or how you list a house different than the way your competition does? It's really important. You'll win more deals if when you show up at a listing appointment, you find out who you're up against and that you can eloquently compare your value proposition to the value proposition of the agent that you're up against. You'll win more listings that way. So that's just a little bit on some of the things you can do to win in 2022. So let's see, office updates. Really, our only big office update is we have finally opened the doors to our West Yarmouth office in the Cape. So we're going to work on maybe doing a little summer opening out in that office. But we have Johnny Fallon and our team out there really already super busy in the marketplace. Next up, I just want to remind everybody that last month we had our Chief Sustainability Officer, Craig Foley, on to talk about our most recently released sustainability report. We are one of the only real estate brokerages in the entire country that has a Chief Sustainability Officer at all. Which means we're one of the only real estate brokerages in the entire country that even has a focus on sustainability. So as you're thinking about how to bring your A game to every appointment with buyers and sellers, I would recommend having, as part of the package that you give to buyers and sellers, when you meet with them, you should have in there like a buyer guide or a seller guide. We have beautiful ones. You can find them at LAERagentservices.com. You should have our LAER brochure in there. You can find that at LAERagentservices.com. If it's a seller, you should have the document or the marketing piece that talks about our AdWorks partnership. That should be in there. If they're an investor, you should print out the investor guide. You can also find that at LAERagentservices.com. And for both buyers and sellers, I would include in my package that I give to a buyer or seller, I would include the LAER sustainability report, because most likely your competition is not going to have anything like it. And it just talks about, it's like a 15-page guide that talks about all of the things we're doing at LAER just to pay attention to sustainability in our business. You can download a copy of the LAER sustainability report. You can get it at laerrealty.com/LSR. However, you can also find all of the marketing pieces that I just talked about, every single one of them. You can go to LAERagentservices.com and find Canva versions of every single document that I just talked about, so you can include those in your report. Next up, I just want to introduce Jesse Hopkins from Workers Credit Union to talk for a few minutes. The reason I wanted to invite Jesse on today is because as real estate people, I mentioned a few minutes ago, you guys have to get really good at understanding financing. In order for you to maintain your competitive advantage as a real estate agent, you guys have to understand what programs are out there for your customers and interest rates. You have to understand interest rates, and you have to understand how interest rates impact your client's ability to buy. What's interesting about credit unions is sometimes the rates are significantly lower than going to a mortgage company. So I want to have Jessie on. She's with Workers Credit Union. She'll tell us a little bit about Workers Credit Union and some of the value that they bring to the table. Welcome, Jessie.
Hi, thank you, Stacy. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessie Hopkins. I am a loan originator here at Workers Credit Union. I've been here a little over 4 years, about 15 years in the mortgage world. Done a little of everything: servicing, processing, underwriting, but ultimately originating is my passion. As far as workers, why should you refer to us? Like Stacy said, our rates right now are unbelievably low. I would say, the lowest in the market. Our 30-year starting rate right now is 4.625, 0 points. We do have the ARMs, like Stacy mentioned, a 5-1, 7-1, 10-1, jumbo loans, 4.625, 0 points. Borrowers, what I'm seeing, want to keep all their financials together. They like having their mortgage with all of their other financials. So keeping them together is important to borrowers. And we do have all the same products as those mortgage companies. We have FHA, VA, USDA. We do have mass housing, construction loans with 20% down if they own the land, 70% if they don't own the land. Purchase and rehab products, turnkeys. Happy to discuss all of these products further if anyone has questions on them. It's definitely, we do have also home equity products, 100% financing. And I know that you all don't deal with that, so much in the beginning process, but just know that, the credit unions do have a big array of products available to your borrowers.
Awesome. One of the things I said to Jesse is one of the upsides to working with the credit union. By the way, can anybody join the credit union? What are the qualifications to? So for example, I'm not in workers credit union. Can I still go get a mortgage from you guys?
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. It would just require a $5 savings account to become an official member of the credit union.
And one of the things I was telling Jesse, right now they do business in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. They're working on expanding to Florida as well. Is having everything local, so that like local decisions, your processing, your underwriting is, I think, in Littleton, Massachusetts. And then also because just having a small local bank that handles all the decision-making process, sometimes you're dealing with a human being instead of somebody out in like California that doesn't answer the phone, that you can't have a conversation with. It makes a huge difference in sometimes making these transactions work. So we're putting Jesse into our LAER Facebook group. So we'll post this afternoon, just so you have Jesse's contact information if you need anything, but Jesse will be in the group as well, so that if you guys have questions on financing or you have a deal you want to run by her, you guys will know where to find her. So thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Next up, I want to invite Nicole Choate DeRosa from Coast to Coast Closings to come on for a few minutes. So I asked Nicole to talk for a few minutes today. This drives me insane. I heard somebody the other day, an agent trying to help a customer get their closing costs reduced. And they told the buyer that one of the ways they could reduce their closing costs was to not purchase owner's title insurance, that it was a waste of money. And I look at it so differently. I think for this tiny little expense that it costs to have an owner's title insurance policy, it's worth it. So Nicole, tell us what is the difference between like the lender policy of title insurance and an owner's title, and why should people have it?
Yeah, you are correct, Stacy. I have multiple times have had to have a conversation with not only agents, but with borrowers, because they want to reduce their closing costs. And on our CDR HUDs, we have the word optional. So of course they're like, well, I'm not paying for that. So the biggest thing is lenders title insurance covers the lenders. That's it. So if a title issue comes up, probate wasn't filed, the foreclosure was wrong, missing discharge. It's something very simple to, something, it could be pretty big. The lender is covered. The title is fine. The title company will pay legal fees and will fix that title. The owner is not. So sometimes it's a big expense. It can be, $400, $500, $600. It can be upwards. It depends on the purchase price and the loan amount. I have a quick story, and it's funny because this is usually the biggest time why we don't want owner's title insurance is because I am buying it from a family member. Their title is fine. It's been in the family forever. We're like, okay, whatever. We did not do the closing. We represented the person coming in who their grandpa had a long lost something or other, came to them and they said, the property's mine. And no, we've owned it for 5 years. It's not yours. It ended up, it was not all theirs, that the person who actually owned the property at the time for the 5 years had to divvy up and give some of the property, or the money, I should say. They did not have owner's title insurance. It cost them not just legal fees, everything. It cost them $57,450.
Holy
So
cow.
why not, like Stacy said, why not the expense, which a huge quote selling point, if you want to say this, it's a one-time fee. Lender's title insurance, Workers Credit Union, every single time you get a loan or a refinance or whatever, they want the lender's title insurance because they want to insure that mortgage, the loan that they're doing at the time. Owner's title insurance is once. You purchase the property, it's once and it's discounted. Sometimes if they don't have the money then, but they're going to get the money in a couple months, we can talk to the title company and say, hey, listen, they bought 3 months ago. They want owners now. Can we put the discount price back? And we can do that. So
What's interesting about the owner's title insurance, I was reading an article in the Bankers and Tradesmen about somebody, because a law can come along that could potentially change your title. So there was a family in there that had bought a property and it had been a foreclosure. So these people came in and purchased a property with clear title. The property had been properly foreclosed on. They bought the property. Well, somebody went and challenged a foreclosure on another property, a totally unrelated property, which changed the potential, it changed the way foreclosures happen. So now it makes other foreclosures questionable. So it's like, holy cow, if these people didn't have, if they didn't have owner's title coverage, potentially they could lose ownership of their property because somebody else challenges the foreclosure. So for a very small investment, it potentially saves the client. So that's why I wanted to invite Nicole on today, because I never want to hear a LAER agent telling somebody not to buy the title insurance, because then you potentially open yourself up to potential liability as well. So thank you, Nicole.
thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to bring up, we have each month, we're going to try to give you guys a new marketing piece. And anytime you see a cool marketing piece out there that you want us to duplicate, just shoot us an email at happyagent@laerrealty.com. Somebody saw this awesome marketing piece that Julie Oakes had put out and sent in an email to Happy Agent and said, hey, I want to do something just like this so I can put it in my buyer package. And basically it was a Monopoly board that showed the buying process from the consultation all the way to the closing. And so she sent it in to Happy Agent and said, how can I get something like this? And so we made this for the agent. We made our marketing team made a beautiful marketing piece, and now it's available for all of you guys. You can get your Canva version of this buying process. It prints out on 8.5 by 11, which means it's an awesome piece to include in your buyer package, which I talk about at every boot camp event. You should have nice buyer packages with the LAER folder with all of your buyer materials in there. This is a cute piece to include in there. It's an 8.5 by 11 flyer. It opens in Canva, which means you can duplicate it. You just go into Canva and you'll just switch out your photo and put your name, your contact information. And now you have a piece that you can share on social media, but also print it on 8.5 by 11 paper, include it in your buyer package. So again, just go to LAERagentservices.com, scroll down to the marketing section where you can find all the great marketing pieces we spoke about today, including a buyer guide, a seller guide, a marketing plan, investor booklets, and now this cute Monopoly marketing piece that shows buyers what happens during the entire process. Some of you guys have asked, we published in several of the local newspapers our open letter to home sellers seeking a great real estate agent. Sergio, could we add that to the marketing section, by the way? Right now, you can get that at laerrealty.com/open letter, but also we'll have Sergio add that over to the marketing section on our LAER agent services. I'm also going to have Sergio add over there. We have a fantastic letter to include if you're working with a VA buyer. Over the last year, it's been difficult to get VA offers accepted because it's a low or no down payment mortgage. And so we've created a really nice marketing piece to attach to your offer that talks about all the reasons why the seller should accept this offer because it's a veteran client. You can also, there's also a page where your client can fill out a little bit of information about them. Some people have said, well, I don't want to include a letter because it violates fair housing laws. I don't see that personally. I'd feel totally comfortable with you guys attaching a letter explaining why somebody should work with a veteran. And a veteran is not a protected class. A veteran or a non-veteran is not a protected class. So we'll have that added as well to the LAER agent services. So LAERagentservices.com. If you guys have not been on there, you got to go check it out. We made this really nice organized dashboard of the most important tools available to you. This came from our LAER committees that meet once a month. So when agents, we have our LAER tools guide, but this is just a more organized system. So you can click on really quick and find everything you need, all the tools and services organized in one place. If there's something you think is missing from LAERagentservices.com, like you want to link to a particular item, just shoot us an email at happyagent@laerrealty.com and we will get that taken care of. And as always, you can download the LAER program and services guide at laerrealty.com/success tools. As a reminder, every month our marketing team puts out a beautiful newsletter called the ROAR Report. This is a 4-page newsletter. It's all done for you. All you have to do is change out your name, your phone number, your contact information, and it's good to go. Now that ROAR Report is available on Canva. So we've been doing the ROAR Report now for several years. We're like in our 4th year, I believe, of this. And many of you guys asked for us to move the marketing of that over to Canva so it was easier to change. So now when it comes out each month, you'll see a link to the Canva marketing piece of the ROAR Report. If you're looking for market update reports, just a reminder, like just a market update, if you want to post what's happening in your local market, you can just go to laer.link/market update. Tell us what town you need a market update for. And our marketing team just creates a little image, just like the one you see here, so that you can just post to social media and say, hey, here's what's happening in the West Palm Beach marketplace. And as always, we would love to have you guys join a committee. Every month, our committees get together. Most of them meet by Zoom, some of them meet in person, but we'd love to have your voice. If you're interested in helping us steer the direction in which the company's going, if you want to have a say in what tools, training, technology, what initiatives we're working on, then join a committee. I like to remind everybody that all the really awesome things that we have at LAER are byproducts of agents who attend committees and then come back to us and say, hey, this is what we want that's different or new, or this is a change we want. And it's our job to make that happen. So if you want to have a voice, we'd love to hear from you. And you can go to laerrealty.com/committees to join a committee. Don't forget to check out our upcoming LAER training calendar. You can go to laerrealty.com/training to see all the different trainings we have throughout the month. Typically, there's training every Tuesday and Thursday from 12:30 to 1:30, as well every Wednesday morning. Don't forget to do the Lion's Breath yoga class with our in-house yoga instructor. And that's every Wednesday morning at 9. We'd love to have you at our yoga class by Zoom. Here's all the upcoming training classes for June. You'll see lots of marketing, .loop training, cloud CMA training, Boston Logic. Don't worry if you can't take the live version. We do record everything and then we put it, we then post it to laeruniversity.com. So if you miss a class that you wanted to see, just shoot us an email and we'll get you the link to it. As well, you can always watch the reruns inside our LAER, inside the Lion's Den group on Facebook. If you miss or had to leave early from today's meeting, you can always go watch our boot camp and sales meeting replays at youtube.com/LAER training, as well as laeruniversity.com. And as a reminder, you guys have access to more than 40 offices. If you're interested in accessing one of the other office locations to meet a customer or to go work for an afternoon, just go to laerrealty.com/office access. Fill out the form with your name and your LAER email, and that will send you the information you need immediately so that you can access that office. In the meantime, between now and next month's great meeting, if there's anything we can do for you at LAER, please don't hesitate to reach out to happyagent@laerrealty.com. Our team is available for you 7 days a week. Any questions or help you need, we are there to assist. And with that, I think we got out early. That's first time that's happened. We got out 5 minutes early from our meeting this month. Thank you so much for attending our meeting, and our next meeting will be July 13th, 2022. So with that, have a great day, everyone. And thanks to all of our speakers today.